Hello, my name is Marcus Wabschall. I'm an immigration attorney located in Southern Florida, and I specialize in E1 and E2 treaty investor visas. The purpose of this video today is I wanted to speak to folks who are thinking about applying for an E2 visa, specifically by purchasing an existing business. So many people do apply for an E2 visa by purchasing a business that already exists. And in fact, in Florida, there are quite a bit of businesses that will actually advertise themselves as like E2 visa friendly, or they're E2 visa qualified businesses. And there are also a lot of business brokers out there who claim to be, E2 visa experts or E2 visa specialists, and they're business brokers. And many times this is correct and it's true, and a lot of the business brokers are very good at what they do, very knowledgeable. But many times they're not, and sometimes there's a lot of fraud that can happen if you don't know what to look out for. So I wanted to just make this video kind of high level. It's things to look out for if you're in that position and you're thinking about buying a business in the United States. What are some of the things that you want to make sure about during that process? One of the important things is most businesses who are advertising themselves this way are reputable, but you got to do your due diligence. And one of the things you got to look out for is, does the business have financials? Like, do they have clear records? Are there tax returns? Are there profit and loss statements? Does the business have written policies and procedures? Do they have sales? Is all this stuff recorded? Is it organized? These are things you got to look for. I've had a lot of clients call me where I've been called by people who got the E2 visa, and they're calling me for their renewal. And many times they call me and they say they use a business broker, and the business broker promised them that the business had like a $10,000 a month owner benefit, and that turned out not to be true. And it became a major pain for the owner of that business to generate the revenue that they thought they were going to do originally. So you got to be careful when you're looking at the records. Another thing that you want to look out for is the revenue sufficient? So if the business is operating, what are the sales that it's done? What are the gross receipts? What's the profit margin? What's the actual owner benefit of the gross sales? These are things that you want to look at, because when you're applying for the E2 visa, your investment has to be substantial. And the substantiality requirement is determined based on the type of business that you're applying for. So you want to look at the revenue, and you want to see, what's the business worth? What's the market value of the business? Otherwise, you don't really know what you're investing in. And that's very, very important when you're going to apply for the visa. So if you can get like a market appraisal or some kind of market value of the business, that will be very important part of doing your due diligence. That may require getting a very skilled accountant to audit the books, to do a financial audit of the business. Another thing you want to look out for is, does the business have employees? How many employees does it have? I recommend that if you're buying an E2 business, it has at least 1 or 2 W2 employees. Many times the businesses pay people in cash, or they'll pay their employees in cash. And the problem with that is, from the Department of State's standpoint or the Immigration Services standpoint, paying an employee in cash, it looks like there's no employees because there's nobody on the books. So you want to check and see, are the employees W2'd? Are they independent contractors? How are they being paid? And is it being recorded? Because that is going to be another important part of your business plan and part of your application. Another thing that you want to look out for is, does the business own the real estate that it's located on? Does it have a lease? Is it a short lease? Is it a long lease? What kind of lease is it? You don't want it to look like it's just some kind of home-based business. So if there's a long-term lease or if the business owns the property the real estate that it's located on, that makes the business look more stable. The business looks reliable. It looks like it has longevity, right? If you don't own the property that your business is on, or if you don't have some kind of long-term lease agreement, that kind of can lend itself to looking like it's not a stable business. And the optics of that from the immigration services standpoint or from the visa officer's standpoint is that the business doesn't look reliable. So that is another thing that you'd want to look at. Okay, so just to summarize, when you're purchasing an E2 business, what are some of the things you want to look out for? Does the business have clear financial records? Is the revenue sufficient for an E2 visa? Does the business make $100,000 a year in sales? Does it make less than that or way more than that? And what's the owner benefit of that? Does the business have employees? Are the employees W-2'd or are they 1099'd? Have they paid employees in cash? Does the business own real estate? Does it own the real estate that the business is located on? Or is it a lease? What kind of lease is it? Is it a short lease or is it a long-term lease? Okay, these are the kind of things you want to look for. If you have other questions about your business purchase, please feel free to contact us. We can help connect you with some reputable business brokers if you need to, or if you just want us to review your business plan or your business idea before you make the purchase, please feel free to contact us.